19% fewer new orders for commercial and business aircraft last year in 2012. Another story that hit the wire this morning is about these Aeroplan customers. Let me read the story for you and make up your own mind about what the heck's happening with Aeroplan. And I used to have Aeroplan, I'm sure many of you as well. Like many frequent flyers, Len Dvorkin. Boy, this name sounds familiar. Len Dvorkin, maybe from Edmonton. I don't know. Let's see. I know Dvorkin from Edmonton. Like many frequent flyers, Len Dvorkin saves his Aeroplan points and redeems them for plane tickets for his family every year. Lately, however, he noticed that fuel surcharges on the so-called free tickets seem to have crept up each year. His recent business class tickets to Europe, booked using Air Canada's reward points, cost him, you ready for this, $850 each. That added up to more than $2,500 for his family of three, on top of 270,000 Aeroplan points. Fuel surcharges took up most of those added fees. This is a first world problem, okay? I'm lucky. I'm privileged. I can go and I can afford it, he told CBC's Aaron Saltzman. But that's a lot of money for a free ticket. When contacted by CBC News, Air Canada referred questions to Aeroplan. Aeroplan said it is collecting fuel surcharges on behalf of Air Canada, and the amount is usually determined by market and by class of service. The airline began levying fuel surcharges in 2007 when oil prices spiked to more than $150 per barrel. The price now is less than $90 per barrel. So just beware when you're cashing in your Aeroplan points. And there's a full report on this, by the way, by Aaron Saltzman on CBC. We always love to give CBC a plug because they're kindred in their approach to broadcasting. All right, so that's that on Aeroplan this morning. And there's a case in Ontario that people are stumped by. Police are stumped by this. It's a missing person, I should say. I'll be all right. Police in Whitby, Ontario, say they are ending their ground search for Jeffrey Boucher, adding that the missing teacher appears to have vanished. Boucher, a married father of two who teaches at Bowmanville High School, hasn't been seen since January the 13th. The 52-year-old Boucher is an avid runner, and his family believed he had gone out for a morning run, but he didn't return. We need leads to streamline and clarify our investigation, Durham Regional Police Detective Sergeant Mitch Martin said Monday. Mr. Boucher quite simply appears to have vanished. We are truly stumped. Extensive searches of wooded areas around the Boucher home have failed to turn up any sign of the married father of two. Boucher ran almost every day and was known to have varied his running route. Martin said police have been in touch with Boucher's family every day since he was reported missing, and the police will continue their investigation until they find him. But police said after a week of searches involving ground, air, canine units, ATVs, and a trained volunteer search team, they've thoroughly covered the area around Boucher's home and will be removing their public order assets. They add that if further evidence is found in another geographic area, they will be immediately deployed there. Police aren't ruling out the possibility the Bowmanville High School teacher met with foul play or walked away from his life. There has been no activity on his bank account, and he doesn't have a passport. All right, so the family obviously is distraught. The police have said Monday that a background check on Boucher turned up nothing suspicious. There is nothing at all unusual with his lifestyle prior to him going missing, said Martin. The family are distraught. They want Mr. Boucher home. Martin said it's unlikely Boucher fell during his run, saying police believe he would have been located by now. Teams of police officers and volunteers have checked and rechecked several kilometers of rough terrain around his home, 55 kilometers east of Toronto, with a wider radius search by air. These efforts, however, have produced no solid leads. Police say although the ground search has been scaled back, the file remains open. Boucher is described as white, 6 feet tall, and 180 pounds with gray and white short hair. So if you're listening to this broadcast anywhere in Ontario or the region, perhaps you can keep your eyes and ears out. Well, here's an interesting story. By the way, the loonie slipped to below 91 cents today. That's another drop. And I'm just looking at the in the old days we called it the teletype, but now it's all online. Some more news that just popped in here. Oh, isn't this? Well, this may not be so surprising. Conrad Black owes $5.1 million in back taxes. Okay, so this is the guy that Moses Zamir said. Zamir said, "Hey, let's create a radio show around him, for his Zoomer network, and let's have all Canadians watch this so-called respectable citizen who renounced his Canadian citizenship. Canada Revenue wants taxes for 2002. This is a year after Black renounced his Canadian citizenship." Conrad Black owes the Canadian government $5.1 million in taxes on income and taxable benefits from 2002. By the way, this is the guy that interviewed Conrad Black interviews Rob Ford, and then after the broadcast says he's going to support him in the next in the next election. Talk about strange bedfellows, but not so strange when you think about where these guys are coming from. Like, where is their where are they as individuals? I don't forget all the politics and everything aside, but as individuals, what are they like? What are their, are they sociopathic? Are they narcissistic? Are they, in some cases, psychopaths? Because they've done a lot of research at UBC on the similarity between criminals and CEOs of companies who have psychopathic tendencies. That's why they hire a lot of them. I'm not saying that Conrad Black is a psychopath. I'm just saying that what they should be doing when they hire CEOs of companies is to absolutely do a psychological assessment of these people. And I think the same thing should be true for politicians. They should be also assessed to determine whether they're capable mentally of leading, whether it's a company or leading a country, okay, or leading a city as a mayor. It's the same responsibility. So do we want a dysfunctionally, mentally disturbed individual like Rob Ford is, qualifying just because he gets voted in by people? They should be able to have a rigorous psychological assessment as well. Anyways, Conrad Black owes the Canadian government $5.1 million in taxes on income and taxable benefits from 2002. That's the decision of a tax court that sided with the Canada Revenue Agency's position that Black was a resident of Canada during that time and must therefore pay taxes. His lawyers had argued that he was a resident of the United Kingdom at the time and not subject to Canadian tax rules. Oh, really? Okay, so you escape Canada, you denounce your citizenship, then you come back and you're welcomed by open arms by Moses Zamir, who has Zoomer television, which is supposed to represent the seniors in this country. The bill includes $2.9 million for income earned for work done outside of Canada and $1.4 million for benefits from the use of an airplane Hollinger International Inc. had access to. It also includes $90,000 worth of security for his Toronto home. Black, who renounced his Canadian citizenship in 2001 so that he could become a British lord, has been living in Toronto since 2012, when he finished serving 37 months in the U.S. for convictions on fraud and obstruction of justice. An appeal court tossed out 2 other fraud convictions against him and 2 other Hollinger executives. Anyways, there you go. That's the news from Mr. Black's corner of the world. Target is warning Canadians that those who use credit cards to shop in the U.S. those who use credit cards to shop in the U.S. may have had data stolen. We knew that, so that's not surprising. And let's see, what else have we got here? I've been trying to find an item here, and I'm going to have to bear with me, folks, as I quickly This is me typing as opposed to looking through a newspaper. Search and Rescue BC, unfortunately, this is a very tragic end to the life of Tim Jones. This was on the late news last night. You may not have heard about it, but Tim Jones, the iconic search and rescue leader who helped save thousands, died suddenly on a BC mountain at 57. Tributes poured in Monday for the godfather of search and rescue in BC after a day after he died on the side of a mountain from an apparent heart attack. Tim Jones, 57, saved thousands over the course of a 25-year career volunteering with the North Shore Rescue Team. When he wasn't working as a paramedic, he spent up to 50 hours a week monitoring a 480 square kilometer tract of rugged peaks, steep canyons, and thick forests in North Vancouver. He said his volunteer work fulfilled his crazy lust for adventure. On Sunday, Jones was leaving the rescue team's Mount Seymour cabin with his daughter and another firefighter when he asked them to hang on a minute. And then he collapsed. Emergency crews rushed to the scene, put in a massive effort to save Jones, but he didn't survive. The North Shore Rescue Team said in a statement he was pronounced dead in Lionsgate Hospital. So tributes are now pouring in from the Premier. He received the Order of British Columbia from Christy Clark in 2011 after he helped raise more than $1 million to fund the team's life-saving work. He dedicated the best part of his life to helping people in the worst moment of theirs, Christy Clark said. The man who became the voice of the volunteer group caught the rescue bug during a dicey operation in 1989. A helicopter lowered him into a ravine on Mount Seymour to rescue an injured hiker. Dangling in space, he felt a heady rush of fear and adrenaline when fog enveloped the helicopter. He got hooked on the rush he experienced, and in 1991 he became a full member of the rescue team. Over the next 22 years, Jones led hundreds of risky rescues. In 2008, he spent 3 days in a snow cave at the height of a storm that made it impossible to get a helicopter off Mount Seymour with an injured snowshoer. The adventurous Renaissance man was even drafted in the CFL way back when he came out of high school. We didn't know that. And hundreds of people have honored Jones on social media. Friends and colleagues call Jones a selfless and courageous man who went out as he lived, with adventure, passion, and fresh air as his last breath. We are very sad that we have lost our tenacious leader who has done so much for this team and our community. That's what the North Shore Rescue Team had to say about his untimely death. Even people who never met him were saddened to lose a true community hero who also worked as a paramedic for more than 30 years. To say that the paramedic family and British Columbians in general have suffered a tremendous loss would be an understatement, the BC Ambulance Service said in a statement. So, some tragic news on the loss of Tim Jones. Well, as we close out this particular broadcast this morning, here's the Peachland weather as we do every day. Right now it's -1 in Peachland. This afternoon, look for variable cloudiness and a temperature of 3 degrees. This evening, there'll be some ice pellets and a temperature of 1, an overnight low of 1. And it looks like Wednesday morning we'll have variable cloudiness and 1 degrees. And the long-range forecast looks about the same, variable cloudiness for Thursday, cloudy periods for Friday, Saturday variable cloudiness, Sunday cloudy periods, all highs around 3 to 4 with overnight lows of -1. And now, stay tuned for the rest of the story with Paul Harvey. All you need to do is just click on the link below. And we'll see you all again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.